Hello and welcome back to the Kinsei-Do Corner podcast. In this episode, I welcome back Coach Lucas for the fifth time to the show. And just as in the previous four times, we had a great and free-flowing chat around various health and fitness and training related topics. If you're a regular listener to the show, then Lucas will need no introduction. So let's dive right in. All right, welcome back, Lucas. It's been I'm gonna say 2 years or even more since I last had you on this show, so I'm really pumped to get you back on. You were at one point a regular on the show,
Yeah,
and I think even had the statistics up to being on 20% of all shows. That was you. But by now it's been 2 years and a lot has happened. You've left Indonesia, you've moved back to Australia. I'm happy to catch up today about what's going on and what's been happening. And obviously, you have taken your athletic performance and capabilities to yet another level. I didn't know that was possible. Joking, but you were already very fit when you were here, but I think you've even taken that further. So really happy to catch up today and see what you've been up to and what we can take away from that. So welcome.
hey, thanks, mate. It's great to be back again. Yeah, what is this number four, maybe three, four? I can't quite remember.
That you're on, I
But
think
yeah,
this is at least number four, maybe five.
it must be more. Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. Good to be back. Like you said, it's been a while. It's been a long time. A lot has changed. Yeah, it's good to be back, mate, and it's good to see you're doing well as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I am. Obviously, my perhaps my athletic pursuits and all have taken a bit of a back seat, but that's that. I'm still training. I still get a couple of sessions per week in. I haven't rejoined any CrossFit box or community since the pandemic ended. Really, I train on my own mostly, but I'm enjoying it and currently working out some issues with my shoulder. But other than that, still happy to be in there and happy to find out how you've been going.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, lot has happened since we last chatted. I mean, like you mentioned, I moved back from Indonesia, living in Surabaya, coaching and training and teaching there. Moved back, I think in the middle of 2022. It's all kind of a
Hmm.
big blur at the moment, but yeah, I think it's middle of 2022. Came back and uh, basically re-established ourselves here in Australia with Miranda. So Miranda's my wife now. We got married as well.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so yeah, picked up a job in a software company in the sales team, and then basically just kept my training up and found myself a really good gym here. And then after a little bit of training there, just as an athlete, got to know the coaches there a little bit more, know the community a little more, and then got offered a job there as a coach as well. So I've been coaching there for just over a year now, maybe coming up a year and a half as well, which is awesome. Pretty crazy facility, especially coming from our little old gym in Surabaya. It's a bit of basically a Ruko, then going into
Hmm.
this huge basic car park style size facility. So that's really good. Our head coach there is Rob. He's CrossFit seminar staff, so he's in the gymnastics side of things. So having access to him and all of his knowledge has just been incredible for my own
Hmm.
coaching and athletic, development. What else has been happening?
Hmm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you touched on because obviously when you're here in Indonesia, people like you, Joe, Tiago, you're the ceiling, right? You're the people we all look
mm,
up to in terms of knowledge as well as performance and everything. Whereas now you go out, you come outside of this little pond, and now
oh
you
man,
suddenly interact with games athletes, with seminar staff, with all of that kind of, and that's amazing.
it's yeah, you definitely nailed it there, man. Like being a bit of a big fish in a small pond there, coming back here and just being ridiculously humbled in every aspect of fitness, coaching. Um, yeah, it was really good in a way. It was shocking in a way. I was like, holy crap, I kind of went into a little bit of a downward spiral, thinking I'm useless in every aspect. But then I took it on board and used this as a really good way for me to just take these skills and take these people and really learn from them and develop my own skills.
That's fantastic. And you said you first went to the gym just as a way to keep training and as a member, so to say. You
Yeah,
were
absolutely.
you always looking were you always looking to get back into the coaching side? Was that your long game, or was that just?
Oh man, honestly, like even now, I'd still. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked there. Yes, absolutely. That was always the goal, but it was more so like just trying to figure out where we felt the most comfortable in that regard. Um, so basically, when we came back, we were doing like basically a gym hop. We would just go box to box to box and just kind of test out a little bit here and there and see which one we kind of really resonated with. And then we ended up falling on this gym. Um, so that was kind of the reason why we picked that. And then one of the reasons was, well, if the opportunity ever came up, I definitely want to be a coach in this environment as well. Um, but then coming back to what I was saying at the beginning, I still would just want to be a full time coach if I could. It's just that the money here is not really good enough
Mm,
to do that. So I mean, if I could get you know a good enough salary to really feel comfortable on, I would quit my sales job tomorrow in a heartbeat. But I just think the way
mm,
that it's run, unless you're the owner of the gym, it's not really the best, you know, source of income, I think.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, let's touch on that later because I think, and I'd be curious whether you've spoken to guys like Joe, like Ed Haynes, people that obviously do this full time. Whether you've sought their counsel, but what I want to touch on is that you said you kind of hopped around different gyms, so that's already a luxury, right? You don't have that here
Oh
in
yeah,
Canada. Well, you have several gyms, but to get to one is already a logistical nightmare.
a
So
hundred
I would
percent.
never I would never
Yeah, so
pick
you
one
very
that's
much
further
pigeon.
away.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You're very much limited to what's around you, right? Well, yeah, that's so true, and that's kind of a funny thing. Like, I mean, what's the population of Indonesia? Like 200 plus million people, maybe?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe way
Jakarta
more than that.
alone, bigger, Greater Jakarta alone is 30, right? So
Okay, let's
it's
just even
it's
take
just
Jakarta,
insane.
right? Let's take Jakarta.
Yeah,
So Jakarta is the same population, slightly bigger than the whole of Australia, right? And like
yeah.
in Jakarta, I think maybe there's three legit affiliates last
Mm,
time I remembered. And
mm,
like, dude, in
mm,
my suburb, there's seven.
mm.
So like just the fitness and health lifestyle here is so huge that yeah, the market here is insane.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay. I guess it depends what you call a legitimate one. There's definitely more here now. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
true.
aside from Benkel and 6221, and then there's obviously in the north Garuda and so on. So there's definitely more now, and everyone's little branching out, and
Mm,
F45s are popping up everywhere as well. So there are options, but yeah, but it's just so difficult to get anywhere
yeah,
that yeah you're most likely going to end up picking the one that you can get to reliably rather
right,
than going where the where the best whatever is best coaches, best facility. Yeah.
right. Yeah, no, definitely. That's so true because like I mean like an hour drive for you in Jakarta could be like 10 kilometers,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
like distance wise, whereas like an hour drive here is like to the Sunshine Coast, which is like over 100 kilometers away. So
Mm,
like the amount of gyms between there, it's just insane.
mm,
So
mm.
an hour commute, which I'm very
Yeah.
used to because of Indonesia, I get the option to pick from a really wide variety and pick the best.
Okay. Okay. So in the end you didn't settle on the closest one. The one that you go to now is not necessarily
No,
the
not at
closest
all.
one for you.
But
Okay.
I mean, it definitely wasn't one of the furthest ones away. It was still within a very close proximity to our house. But no, it definitely wasn't the closest one.
Mm, okay.
But it was,
So you really
yeah,
made
it was the best.
yeah, you really made the selection based on quality and fit and personal fit
Yeah,
and everything. That's
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's
Because I mean, it's like it's the place I'm going. After the end of a really crappy day at work or a stressful day at work, like I don't want to go there and be kind of like, oh, just another thing to add to the day. Like I want to be going to that place like I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to meet the people there. You know, like I want it to be fun. I don't want it to be another chore that I'm adding to my long list of chores. You know.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally, totally, and obviously living. I don't know how you lived when you were in Indonesia, but if you did have a maid, if you did have domestic help, all of that you don't have anymore, right? So on
Oh
top
yeah,
of work, on top of
that took
coaching,
a while to
you
get
now
used
have
to.
life.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah, I bet.
dude. Let me give you like a rundown of like a day for us right now. And this kind of
Oh
hits
yeah.
on, not having the domestic help. So like let's say it's a morning session. No, let's say it's an evening session. So I'll get up, I'll go train in the morning. So I'll get up at like 5:30, go train at 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock. Miranda and I will train together. So then I'll drive us home. I'll quickly get ready for work, and then I'll get to work before 8 o'clock. Then I'll go to work from say 8 o'clock till 4 o'clock. Then I'll go to coach. So I'll coach from say like 5 o'clock till 7:30, and then Miranda's got to get picked up because she doesn't have a car. So like we'll go out to pick her up, which is quite far away, and then she might not finish till say like 8 o'clock. So we've got to wait around to then, and then we'll come home, then cook dinner, then prepare for the next day. So like our day is hectic, man. It's really, really a huge shift in lifestyle coming back here. Like it's having those luxuries in Indonesia is like one of the very few things I miss from Indonesia. But God, I would
Mm.
kill to have a pembantu again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Just come home and have the food on the table, not not have to do it.
Yeah, or
Um,
just clean, wash clothes. Even
mm,
I don't even care. Like
yeah,
one thing. But yeah,
that's
it's a
right.
long
No,
day.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, I see. So you do that. You're basically at the gym twice a day, every day. Once for your own training
Yeah,
and once for coaching.
correct. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then, yeah, basically that's it. If I'm training for a comp or something, I might throw a second session in there. Or we also have like ice baths and saunas there as well, so I might throw a recovery session in there as well. But yeah, basically twice. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess at that point, yeah, if you could cut out the middle part, the working
Oh,
elsewhere, that
would
would
be nice.
that would that would help greatly. So
Yeah.
I'm curious if to make that work financially and everything, what would that take? Would you need to basically be coaching significantly more? As in, are you paid by the hour, or would you need to have private clients?
Yeah.
How would you even think of making it work?
It's a good question. I've thought about it a lot. I think that's the gap. So it'd be like continue essentially as a part-time coach and maybe pick up some more hours there, but then freelance on the side or utilize the facility and just do a 70-30 profit sharing split. But then look at building my PT client base and that would then fill in that gap, I would imagine. Um,
Mm. Okay,
But
okay.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you,
no,
yeah.
kind of. I'm thinking about this a bit more. It would be good, but then like it's not like I could quit my job today and then go into that tomorrow. You'd need to build that client base over 6 months to a year, right? So there is,
Mm.
in order to do it, there's like a big sacrifice you would need to make short term while you're
Mm.
building, and then the payoff is worth it in the end. But I just think with our current goals in our life, with trying to buy a house and things, like we can't really
Mm.
risk that right now.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so I think once we get a bit more established, and that might be something we'll look at doing. I'm not too sure at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. The funny thing about life is you never really get established. Yeah, you chase that next goal, and then comes the family,
Yeah.
and then you're locked into another battle for the next 18 years. So
Yes.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like those big dreams that it's so cliche, but like they start to become less chase wanting to chase after them a little less. I think and just look for security and safety.
yeah, and obviously, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I'm complaining or anything. That is it is life life with a family is fulfilling in a very different way,
Yeah, 100%.
and it's not. I wouldn't trade this to have more time to coach or anything. But yeah, you do have to find the time or make the trade offs. Did you so you don't do any personal training anymore at the moment? You used to quite heavily when you were in Indonesia, right?
Yeah, big time. So when I was in Indo, I think the majority of my coaching time was actually PT. I think for one stage, I probably had like 14 or 15 PT clients, which was pretty crazy. But no, nothing here at the moment. I mean, I hate the excuse I don't have the time, but I very, very genuinely don't have
Mm,
the time right now to put in
mm,
more.
mm,
Um, but like if things kind of ease up, there is kind of like the potential for me to shift into a new role in a different company, which is surprisingly like one street away from the gym with people that I train and coach with at the gym. So it'd just be a much nicer environment, and they'd be a lot more flexible with me. And if that comes up,
mm,
then I
mm,
might look at filling in some gaps there with some PT. But I also really want to try and push harder because I'm going as an athlete because I'm about to move
mm,
into the next masters tier. And I think, being the youngest age of your tier is your
mm,
highest chance of winning or getting through to a higher,
mm, mm.
level as an athlete. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is like, well, I don't really need to pick up more PT. Maybe I could just use that to train more and see if I could get to semis next year as a masters athlete.
Okay, okay. I must admit I don't even know. Is the qualifying structure for masters, is it exactly the same? Is it open,
Not
fluid,
so
QF?
much. Yeah, so there is so that flow is the same: opens, QF, and then semi, and then games. But I think the QF going to semis cutoff is top 200 in the world rather than top X in
Mm,
X region. It's just the top 200 scoring masters in each tier would then get the opportunity to do semis. But the annoying thing is that I don't know why, but they're online. The semis for masters is online. It's not
it's still
at
online,
like a
right? Yeah.
yeah. It's not at like an
But
event.
yeah, I'm I'm wondering if that's just in consideration of masters probably having even less sponsorship opportunities and therefore money to
Oh
travel,
yeah,
right? If
it's
you're
definitely way
if
less
you're a
sexy.
mass, yeah, yeah. So if you're a masters
Yeah,
athlete, not to say no one cares, but obviously a lot less people follow that kind of competition. And then
for
for
sure.
you to travel to, for someone from Indo to have to travel to, I don't know, Dubai or whatever to do it to do a semi, it would be, yeah, would probably not happen.
Hmm.
Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting. And have you thought of like online PT or online training as an additional
I definitely
means?
have. I definitely have, but like, I guess this is like a little bit of my own like mental battle. But like, I'm just in a gym running with some really high level coaches that are just so much better than me that I feel like putting out some kind of marketing campaign about my coaching program would just fall short or fall flat,
Mm.
or like people would see it as like, why would I take Lucas's program when the programming at the gym is doing so well? And I know I would be obviously marketing out beyond the gym, but I just feel
Mm.
it just feels weird to me doing that. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here, but obviously you have the connection and the reputation still back to right here, back to this market, right? I mean,
Yeah, for
yes, we
sure.
can people like me could get the mayhem programming or whatever, but I don't know the people who are doing it, and they don't know me.
Mm,
Whereas
yeah.
if I got programming, or if I worked with you as a coach, I'd be like, okay, at least he kind of knows me. At least he's hopefully putting it at the right level. And is it is he the best coach out there? Maybe not, but maybe he's the best coach for me.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that's a
I
good point.
think you do have an opportunity here that others don't have, that others who might on paper be better coaches, but they don't have because they don't have the links back to
Hmm.
either back to here, or back to, I think you have connections to China, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, you're definitely right. And I think it is just me having a mental battle with
Mm.
myself about it. I should definitely do it. I mean, I've got
Yeah,
programming.
because
I've done loads of programming before.
yeah, and obviously it's a lot more. That's the initial sales argument that everyone makes for online training, is that it's a lot more flexible, right?
Mm,
You can do my programs on the weekend. I don't mind. I don't mind when you do that,
right.
as long as I get them for the week,
Receive.
right?
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah,
So
that's a good point. Maybe I might look into it, man. I feel like I should.
yeah,
I've been pushed enough. Miranda's always trying to push me to do it, and yeah, I'll give it a
yeah. Is
crack.
she coaching as well, or she's just training with
No,
you, just a member?
she's just training with me. She's so busy here with what she's doing. So she's
Mm.
still doing her nail art. That's her main business here. But she's so busy, man. She gets booked out like months in advance. So like her downtime and free time is pretty limited. So she
Mm.
doesn't get to train anywhere near as much as she'd like. But she's putting it in
Mm.
when she can.
Oh, that's nice. But I guess it's a luxury problem to be booked out months in advance.
Yeah,
It's what
true.
any freelancer wants.
I know, right? Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's a good thing. I'm making it sound bad, but no, no, it's good. Just
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
no,
she gets a little bit disappointed she's not training as much as she'd like.
yeah. I mean, I've obviously it's it's always it's always such a matter of comparison, right? I mean, obviously, yeah, she's with you every day, all day, or almost. Sorry, every day, not all day, but every day. Then she's
Yeah,
in the same gym with all these people that are so amazing that you've also described. So you're always comparing yourself to, okay, I'm not measuring up
yeah,
to them. I'm not putting in as much time as they are. Once you step out of it, right? Once you go look around, look in a company, look in your company, look wherever, you'll find that you are already in the top 5%, even if you're
oh
training three,
yeah,
four
for
times a
sure.
week. Yeah.
No, you're definitely right. Like I think, yeah, having a little bit of that perspective makes it um, easier to to accept it. But sometimes you kind of let your guard down and you get a little upset about it.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm obviously at British school where I work. I'm always looked at as the fitness crazy one, the one who's always in the gym, and I'm like,
yeah,
I have 45 minutes a day, and that's by far not enough for what I want to do.
yeah.
But but yet, yeah, this is like this is this is the perspective of people who maybe spend 45 minutes a week
True.
training.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's funny.
it's
Like, yeah. It's I don't know why this just popped into my head, but kind of talking about that and like people that you work with that kind of look at you funny because of like how much you put into your fitness. Oh man,
mm,
some of the things I've seen my colleagues putting into their mouth is insane. Like they're just so unhealthy.
yes,
It is wild here.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
swear
well,
there's a
hey,
woman I
you've
work
been
with.
in Indo, man.
Oh, and
You've
oh
been in
dude,
Indo.
Indo is
You know
nothing.
what people put in their mouths here. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh,
Like
okay.
oh man, like but it's different. Okay, so people there are okay, there's no the the general like base understanding of health and wellness in Indo, I think, would be less than the general of Australia.
Mm,
Like we learn about
mm,
it at school, and we understand that it's very important. But dude, like I'd go to work and like I'll see like 3 or 4 people just literally drinking like these jumbo cans of Red Bull and just slamming like 6 of them every single day, and then going and getting McDonald's for lunch, and then sushi for breakfast. Oh man, it's heinous. And
oh, wow.
yeah, and then they like look at you and like kind of it's strange. Like they're almost like making fun of you for like
Mm,
bringing your own lunch to work and
mm,
like pulling it out and putting it in the microwave and then like leaving early because you got to go to the gym. It's like they just don't get it. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's and I wonder if the general perception or understanding of that, if that's starting to shift because all of this, like the generally the focus, even like the understanding of the importance of sleep and all these things, it's starting to happen. I mean, there's
mm,
books like that, books like the one from Matt Walker or the Huberman podcast. All of these things help to kind of spread it a little bit further. But
yeah, sure,
I feel like yeah, it's less. I don't know. You get a bit of a lesser stares and weird comments about it. People people might still do the behavior that they do, but they don't feel the need to comment, to make stupid comments about people who take care of their health. Yeah,
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 it's interesting. But yeah, what
yeah.
else
It
has
is
been going
interesting.
on? I've been doing a little bit of gymnastics on the side as well. So like one of the guys that I coach with, Craig, he and I we've kind of taken the gymnastics L2 certification together. And then like after that, we
Mm.
started to get really, really into it. So we've been going every Thursday afternoon to like a gymnasium, like gymnastics gym, and
Yeah, that's what I
just
was
like
gonna ask. Is it CrossFit gymnastics or
no,
gymnastic
it's like
gymnastics? So
proper
you
like
gym.
gymnastics gym,
Mhm.
yeah, with like the springy floor and yeah, we do like an hour of tumbling or an hour of strength or an hour of bar work. Oh my God,
Mm.
man,
Um, it's so
it is
different.
insane.
It's
So different.
and
I
it
love
really
it.
humbles you, right? Because you you realize there's kids that do things you cannot do and probably never will do.
We never will, yeah, it never ever will. It's insane. But yeah, so but the carryover, it's funny, like the carryover to CrossFit from starting that has been insane. It's just made me
Hmm.
such a better athlete on a bar that I'll never stop doing it. And it's also fun, man. Like it really is like going back to being a kid again and playing around.
Hmm.
It's good.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, since you mentioned that, like obviously the CrossFit muscle up has a certain movement standard which is different from the gymnastics kip up, to the point
Mhm.
where you are not even allowed to do. I mean, obviously the gymnastics kip up being the more
Oh yeah,
conditioned way to do it. That's why they do it. Um, but I don't know. Do you find yourself mixing them up or getting or
no, so
unintentionally doing one or the other?
definitely not like so I know what you mean. You're talking more like that glide kip where like you're just like
Yes.
literally just like parallel to the floor.
Yes. Feet to the bar and then
Yeah,
pull yourself, pull the bar to the hip really close, and
yeah,
you kind of you come up with straight arms and it looks effortless. Huh?
yeah. So no, I don't ever like get that it like confused. But one thing that it did really teach me was just really how important just shapes are. So like how important it is to hold a really good hollow body and then a really good arch, and how snapping from arch into hollow allows you to bring up so much momentum that when you're doing a muscle up, you're no longer like pulling down on the bar, but you're pressing yourself to that top
Mm.
position. It's incredible. So that's something that's really important that I learned from gymnastics.
Okay, that's in what gymnastics movement would they use that though? Because they normally use the glide kip to get up on the bar, right?
Hmm. Oh, so I'm just talking about hollow and arch, even on the floor.
Mm.
Just being like just understanding how important and how hard you need to be working in that hollow body position, and then just being able to then spring from arch into hollow on a rig,
Hmm.
and how much momentum that brings into the movement that it then just becomes this push down on the bar. I
Hmm.
guess that's
Hmm.
kind of what I'm trying to say. Um, it's not that the gymnastics gymnastics is teaching me a different way to do a muscle up. It's just making me understand how much I need to work in those shapes, and then
Mm.
being really good in those shapes makes the movement so much easier.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
don't know why I was
I
just
guess.
like
Yeah,
imagining I was doing a muscle up as I was explaining that. But,
yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah, I think. I mean, having having learned the theory and obviously not being able to do a muscle up, um, I'm always picturing the kind of, yes, you come from the arch, you go into the hollow, and then as you just go into the hollow, you just kind of press down on the bar, you make sure your elbows stay straight, and yet when I'm hanging there like a sack of potatoes, it never it never works. The arms bend, all the momentum gets lost. Um, it's it's frustrating, but also when you see it being done properly, it's so impressive. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, I'll show you later, like what I mean. I've got a really good video of Christina in the gym. That just shows
Okay.
how tight and how hard people are like you should be working in that beat swing. Um, but yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that might be it, right? I mean, I guess there's a lot of energy leakage, a lot of tension
Mm,
just lost by not doing that, well.
yeah,
Mm.
and I guess yeah, coming back to what you're saying before, like that the difference between the two. One thing that's so common to see in CrossFit is in any movement, a toes to bar, pull up, muscle up. What else is on the bar? Oh, basically those three. There's just so much
Mm.
break at the knee through the movement. Whereas like if you're
Mm-hmm.
holding really tight virtuous positions, your legs remain straight through the entire movement. Like that's what we should be looking for. When you see someone go into the arch and they whip their knees back like as if that's like going to allow them to generate more force and power. But if you hold that tight arch position, you've like loaded this big elastic band, and then as you release out of that, you've let go of all that tension. It just shoots you forward.
Right, right, right. So have you taken that onto, let's say, your butterfly pull-ups are now
Oh,
always
dude,
straight legs? No,
straight
no,
legged.
no more inverted.
I'll try like even my toes to bar. Like even in like yesterday, I did a competition, and one of the workouts was 10 toes to bar. And we just keep going as many rounds as we can. Like I think we ended up getting like 6 rounds each. So I've done 60 toes to bar, and like my first rep, my last rep, I was trying to make them look the same. Even on that last rep, when I'm tired, I'm still trying to keep my legs straight as much as I can, straight through the back, straight through the leg raise. Because even though
Oh,
it's like you're kind of working harder, but if you train that position, spend lots and lots of time building that strength, it becomes easier over time. Like, and then you've also the cool thing there is because you've trained such good position, when you start to break down, you kick and flick, then you go, you know, all hail Mary for the end. Whereas if you've only trained like a kick and flick, you've got nothing to fall back on when you start to break down movement, and then you're just going to fall off the bar.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Does that
And
make
that
sense? I don't know
that
if I'm jabbering on
totally,
here,
totally,
but
and it just no, 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 it just comes back to the whole mechanics,
yeah,
consistency, intensity thing, right? That's exactly what it is, and and it just takes it takes the knowledge, it takes the patience, it takes the mostly the patience to really work on that, and people just people including myself probably don't have that patience, right? You just go into the gym,
sure.
you want to knock out 10 butterfly pull-ups right away, haven't even done 3 kipping ones, but no, you're gonna so yeah, that's
Yeah, for sure. I think the
it's a
other thing
mindset
too
thing.
is, and it's seriously like, I'm kind of surprised. Like, I really think that like my CrossFit, this is going to sound weird, but I feel like my CrossFit journey started when I started at the gym I'm working at now. Like, it's just like all up until that point, I was just kind of like a hobbyist, like coming in thinking I was doing all good. But man, like when I came in there and I went, like, I just stripped away everything and went back to the basics, man, it really made me like appreciate how important good like on ramp and fundamental classes are like with your new athletes. Because like, dude, the shit I learned in that I still use now that I never used before. So it's huge.
Mm. But that's crazy because you were doing CrossFit for many years before that,
Yeah,
and by
like
all
seven
accounts,
years.
you were moving well, right? I mean, I saw you in competition once or twice. Um, there wasn't okay. Maybe your obviously your gymnastics wasn't as maybe sharp and refined as it is now, but there weren't there there wasn't so much the impression of someone who just came in and was really strong from the beginning, and therefore they could do all the movements, and they were just horrible in moving, right? No, your movements were always clean. So basically, what you're saying is you made them a lot cleaner, which is
So much cleaner. Oh, dude. I don't really post much about my own movements lately, but like if I would love to go back and find like an old like butterfly pull up video, like, and do a before and after kind of thing. I might do it this week, see if I can find one or post one. Um,
nice.
because yeah, dude, honestly, it's like night and day difference. It's insane.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
And like I'm not
That's good
saying
to
that,
know.
and sorry, that's not to say like I didn't think I was like coming from zero. Like I understand, like I had a good base, you know, I could perform relatively okay in a competition setting. But man, like coming in here and really stripping it back and going through a couple of courses of understanding, you know, basics, man, it's improved me a lot. That's for sure. And I guess that my point was is like it's funny how overlooked that stuff gets, but how important it is. Like coming back to like the beat swing and hollow, yeah, like we talk about it, but like I feel like we should spend more time coaching these things because the it makes the journey so much faster. I think when you've understand it a little bit better.
No, that's a good point, and it basically, I mean, it's a mindset thing. But if you can, if and now you have the example of yourself to kind of illustrate on it. But yeah, if you can tell and convince people that give it a year and don't do any of the fancy movements. Just give me a year of your
Yeah,
time, and I'll help you make the 10 years that follow much better. In like things like handstands, even things that are not on the bar, right? Things like handstands. We all want to get to the handstand walk right away, and we do these crummy wall walks and all these things. If you But to really spend several months always only working on the position is it's probably boring, but
yeah.
it'll it'll pay off.
Oh man,
It'll pay off
it'll
later.
pay off. Yeah, big time. Yeah, big time. And again, like I think I mean, I've talked for days already about Hollow and Arch, but like I also think people don't understand where Hollow shows up in other movements. Like people think of Hollow, oh, like I'll just do Hollow when I do a beat swing, or I'll just do Hollow in this one thing. But like you need to Hollow in a handstand, like you need to Hollow in a push up, you need to Hollow on a pull up, in a muscle up. Like it's not just this thing that people use to like train your core or whatever it is. It's like a very, very vital movement that kind of carries over into so many movements that we train.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it goes again, as we just said, it goes back to the basics being the basics,
Yeah,
and you just got to have them, and yeah, and most people want to skip past them, or not necessarily. That sounds like everyone's intentionally trying to cheat themselves. It's not that, right? It's just you want to get to the stuff that looks like a workout, essentially.
yeah, for
And
sure. And I think
yeah,
too, as a coach, like it's it's hard. I mean, if you don't explain why you're doing it, and you just say this thing, and then you never brush over it again, it's like it's such a missed coaching moment that that person could then take into everything. Because I understand that it's like not sexy, it's boring, and like your client probably wants to get to the cool stuff, but letting them understand that this stuff makes them do the cool stuff better is important.
yeah, totally. Right. I mean, as you say, right, we could go on about this for
Yeah,
for days, but
forever.
right. Let's maybe switch it up and come back to the earlier point of the coaching full time versus part time and all of that. So I was wondering whether you said you've thought about it a lot, and you've kind of run the numbers presumably in your head or on paper. But what would the numbers look like? What do you think it would require for you to basically give up, or become a full time coach
In
or gym
in terms
person?
of like a round figure, like what would be the number that would make me want to stop?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I would say I would want to make $100,000 a year from it,
Mm,
which would
okay. And
be a
sorry, how would that
sacrifice
break
from what
down?
I'm currently earning. But that would break down. I haven't done the breakdown on it, but let's say I took a full time coaching gig. We could do the math. I'd probably need to get about 50 from PT clients, 50K. So let's say we charge 110 now.
All right. And then
Uh, yeah,
for
I don't know.
simplicity, I guess let's take taxes out of the equation. So just say
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think you'd probably need to get somewhere between like 10 and 15 PT clients that you coach 2 to 3 times a week.
okay. Tentative,
It's
so
very realistic and very doable. I've just, again, it's like if I was to take that route, I'd almost need to build up a little bit more of a savings to so I could, you know, allow myself this little bit of a buffer to use in the months it took to build up to getting to that many clients, if that makes sense.
yeah. It's basically like a contingency fund
Yeah,
to to live off for a couple of months. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
for sure.
Um, okay, okay. But then you also mentioned earlier that just basically being a full-time coach in a gym is not a viable route. There's no, not to
Not
say
to
no money,
get
but
that
there's
kind
no.
of a salary. No, definitely not. I
Mm,
think like an entry, like let's just say I was to go into my gym tomorrow and say, hey, I'd love to become a full-time coach. What would my package look like? I'd say I'd probably, before tax, look at getting like 65, right?
mm,
And then,
okay.
so, let's say you pay about 25% tax on that. You're not making that much at the end of it. You're really only getting about $48,000, which, for
Mm,
reference, I mean, if you're coming from Indonesia, you're like, holy shit, that's like,
mm, mm,
half a
mm,
billion juta or whatever it is. It's like our
yeah.
rent for our house is $800 a week.
Oh, shit, okay, yeah, shit. So
Yeah, so that kind of gives you
three
reference there.
thousand, yeah, more than 3,000 a month. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Understood.
it sounds big, numbers
Okay.
sound big, but they're not really that big when you look at them like that.
But they're not. And then, yeah, and then you obviously have the car and insurances and food. So yeah,
Yeah,
I see where you're coming from. You need a hundred sounds more like what you'd need. And that's, yeah, yeah. Okay. Right. So, but are there full-time coaches, full-time salaried coaches, other than the ones who own the gym? Are
oh
there?
yeah, yeah. Again, you need to be in an established gym. Like I said before, there's seven, affiliates within 2 kilometers from my house. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
exaggerating, but you get the idea. But a lot of those are run by one person or a husband and wife, and they're the coaches and stuff. In that setting, there's no
Hmm.
chance you get an opportunity. But in say like the gym that I work at, or maybe like another one like CrossFitorian, like these bigger name gyms that have client sizes of like 700 members or something, there's definitely the opportunity there for a full time role. But that full time role is just not enough to pay my bills.
Right. So are there? So that's, I guess, what's my question is: are there people who take this job, and how are they making it work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chris and Craig at my gym, they're full time coaches, but they're young. I mean, a lot of these people are young. They're not married. They don't have kids. Like, um, it's kind of like a young man's game if you wanted to get in there. But they make it work. It's funny, like even Chris and Craig, like these two really great coaches, they don't even take on PT. They just do their shifts. I think they use that opportunity, their downtime where they could be doing PT, to train it themselves.
Hmm. 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 Right. Right. So you think, are they supplementing their income by being athletes, by being athletes on sponsorships?
Christina would be for sure. So, but my buddy
Hmm.
Craig, no, he's just comfortable earning 60. He
Hmm.
has a partner who probably earns a little bit more, so they're quite comfortable. They own their apartment, so they're not paying like rent or a mortgage or anything like that. So they're in a bit of a more comfortable situation that kind of allows them a little bit more financial flexibility, I guess.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So yeah, I guess the model really then is you got to do that plus PT or online training or another job, as in your case, and it doesn't work otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
Right. Cool. Okay. I mean, yeah, we've been taking out quite a bit of a time, and it's really, really interesting and really cool to catch up and see how things are going with you. Just maybe let's leave us, or leave, yeah, if you want to leave us with your future plans. I mean, I think you touched upon trying to break into the like masters athletic scene, and possibly to the semifinals or even to the games. Yeah, what's on the horizon for you for the next couple of months and years?
yeah. So games is impossibility. So I will never get to the games, and I'm very okay with that. I would love, yeah, my goals here would be maybe say make it to semis either as a team or as a masters athlete, ideally next year. Um, what else have I got going on? I have a High Rocks event coming up in August in Brisbane, which will be fun. Haven't done that yet, and I have not put the amount of training into running I should have, so I need to hurry up on that. I've got another big comp, two big comps coming up. One is called Turf Games, which is a four-person event, two guys, two girls. That's going to be pretty cool. And then in the next couple of years, still be staying here in Australia. No plans to move back to Indo. Um, maybe visit Indo. Maybe go for a competition
Mm-hmm.
sometime. And then just keep on working away at something, whether that's building, some kind of online brand for coaching, or maybe taking that step into PT.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, if you do, obviously, if you do stop by, if you come to Jakarta, let me know. Super
They're
happy
doing the what
to
off
meet
this
up.
year.
And are they doing it again? I
Yeah, so
haven't seen
that's
any
what
announcement.
apparently in September they're going to do it. So I have nothing on in September, and I may have just started a new job. So I am thinking if that's the
That'd
case,
be
I'll
sweet.
come.
Okay,
Yeah,
in Jakarta or Bali?
I think it's Jakarta. But I would definitely
Okay.
stop by Bali for sure.
Yeah.
It'd probably just be
Yeah.
maybe the weekend for what off, and then spend the rest of the time in Bali or something.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. See, have they announced it? Is that public already?
Joe posted something on his IG a couple of days ago. It was like a very subtle
Hmm.
hint at a what off, and then I asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, they're looking at doing it in September."
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, I will look into that as well. That's outside of the open. That's still the only thing I've ever done, if I'm not wrong. The what of in
Oh, nice.
2019. Yeah,
That the
obviously
2019,
outside.
that was the second one, right?
That was the second.
Was
No,
that
that
at
was the
the
third one
like the
already.
current Banker one, or like in like a ghetto warehouse?
No, 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 no. It was the current at the current bank. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the current
The
bank.
ghetto
Yeah,
warehouse one
you.
was cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. That what of you were there. Let me
Yeah, I was
find.
there on that one. I remember
See.
there was a shuttle run event that like I was doing really, really good on, and then something happened and my legs stopped working, and I didn't
Okay.
I didn't end it as well as I started it. Let's just say that.
Okay, shame, shame, shame. No, yeah, I did. I had a really good first day that day because those events were like all endurance. So there was
Nice.
the bike burpees and row, and then
Oh
the
yeah,
shuttle run thing. So yeah, I had a really good first day, and then second day came all the strength work, and
the
I,
weight.
I tumbled down the leaderboard. But nah, I still came in second. It was okay. It was fun.
Hell
It was
yeah,
all
dude.
right.
Nice.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, no, and if I don't know if there's ever any plans of ever doing a battle of the fittest again. I haven't talked to the UC 1000 guys in
Oh
ages.
man. Oh
Um,
dude. If that happens and we can get that kind of level of competition, I'll try and see if I can bring like a fun big team from this gym.
that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. I mean, the fact that people from that Ant and Tammy came from, well, from Hong Kong or China or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
that's because that event had just so much pull. And
yeah.
if you can bring people from Australia, now we suddenly have a totally different level. Um,
Yeah, man. Oh, it'll be
Definitely,
exciting.
definitely.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, outside of that, man, like my life's pretty quiet. Nothing huge planned. Just keep working, training, and maybe shoot for a kid soon. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And if you do, that will change up everything. Trust me.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'll be looking for part-time jobs when that happens. I'll be looking for
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah, but sleep and so if you do consider the kind of the online option before that, if you can get that off the ground,
That'd be nice.
that's a great option when you have that. Um, cool. Well, anyway, Lucas, thank you. Thanks for coming back on the show for the fourth
No
or
worries,
fifth
man.
time.
Yeah, happy
Super cool
days.
to catch up. And yeah, I'll catch you soon when
Awesome, man.
if and when you do come here.
Yes,
All
most
right.
definitely, dude. Good to catch up again, mate. See
Cheers.
ya.